Good morning, friends. It's Jessica from Three Rivers Homestead, and I'm here this week with a day in the life video. I'm just going to take you through a normal day here on the homestead, and what it is that I do. So I start my day at about 6:30 a.m. That is when I wake up every day, whether or not it's a weekday or a weekend. My body clock is just kind of set to wake up at 6:30. Usually that's the time that Adam is heading up to the shower to get ready for work. So at that point, I come out into the kitchen and I get my tea kettle warming up and I start Adam's coffee. I make my tea and I just kind of sit and I pray and enjoy the silence for a little bit before the day begins. In the winter, when it's really dark out at this point in the morning, the children will sleep in and they'll sleep in rather late. So Adam and I enjoy this time alone. But in the summer months, as you can see, it's starting to get a little light out, the kids will kind of start coming down one at a time as they wake. Today we have exciting news. Our incubator, the chicks in there are set to hatch, and we woke up to a surprise. There were 2 chicks in there, so that was very exciting news, and I knew that that was going to kind of change the course of this day. The children were going to be very excited about the chicks, and they were going to be on watching the rest of the eggs hatch here. So very exciting stuff happening today on the homestead. Benjamin is typically the first one awake. He's the only one that sleeps downstairs, so he hears us when we start banging around in the kitchen or when Adam's getting dressed. So when I heard him wake, I went and grabbed him, and he was very excited to see the chicks. And it's just a little bit of time to kind of snuggle my boy and wake up together. John was the next one down this morning, and this is typically hard when these 2 are the first ones awake because they fight over my lap and who gets to sit in it. And there's just not enough space for everybody, so we're making do. Everybody's getting some snuggles, and we're all waking up together. From there, it's usually Grace or Gabe that are the next ones awake, and then children will just kind of trickle down one at a time until we're all together. And we just talk and we kind of wait for Adam to be done getting ready. And as soon as he comes out, we kind of hang out with him and just get to talk to him before he heads to work. This is something I've always done since the beginning of my marriage. I've always woken up with Adam before he leaves from work because, he's gone and I miss him throughout the day. And so if I don't get to see him in the morning before he leaves, I will miss him terribly, and it will feel like a long time before he gets home at the end of the day. And so the children get very upset too if they oversleep and don't get to see him in the morning. And I think Adam appreciates that. I used to make breakfast while Adam was getting ready, and we would all eat together. But then Adam started doing intermittent fasting where he skips breakfast, and he seems to enjoy that, and that works for his body. So I no longer make breakfast while Adam is home. I wait until he leaves, and then I make breakfast. So as I mentioned, in the winter, all the children would still be sleeping at this time, and Adam and I would just enjoy some conversation, just the 2 of us. But since it's summer, kids are awake, so it's just a time to connect as a family and kind of make plans for the day and talk to Adam about what we're going to do. And we really enjoy this time. The only time in my marriage that I have not woken up with Adam is when I'm postpartum or I'm feeling sick. I will sleep in, and Adam completely understands and obviously doesn't hold that against me. So saying our goodbyes, everybody's sad to see Daddy go, and we truly do appreciate that he leaves us every day because I know he wants nothing more than to be home with us all day. Immediately after Adam leaves, it's time for me to start breakfast. I cook a warm breakfast pretty much every day of the week except for Saturdays. We have a routine where David bakes biscotti on Friday afternoons, and we have biscotti and coffee for breakfast on Saturdays. But if it's any other day other than Saturday, I am cooking something for breakfast. And on this day, I am making blueberry muffins for the kids. That is what the ones that were awake had requested. And I just enjoy making breakfast. It's probably my favorite meal of the day to make because I'm one of those people who has a lot of energy in the morning. I kind of wake up ready to go. I hit the ground running. I want to tackle as many tasks as possible. because once the afternoon hits, my energy starts to fade, and dinner is actually my hardest meal to accomplish in a day because of the lack of energy. But breakfast is easy for me, so I really do love kind of cooking something warm for the kids. And once again, there are times in my life where that doesn't happen if I'm postpartum or if I'm not feeling good. And at those times, we'll have um, breakfasts that aren't hot. Maybe, I will buy some store-bought cereal to have in the house or something during those times. But if I'm feeling good, I cook breakfast. And on this day, since I can't have muffins, I made myself some potatoes and eggs. That's what sounded good to me. But the rest of the family went ahead and had the blueberry muffins. And I made 2 dozen muffins, but we are reaching the point where 2 dozen is definitely not enough for the 7 children. They could very easily eat 3 dozen, so I need to purchase some larger muffin pans so that I can accomplish that. While the children are eating, I typically start kind of moving around the house and straightening things up, getting things ready for the day, turning on the grow lights, picking up any random toys. If I had laundry hanging to dry overnight, it's the time that I would fold that laundry and get it put away. I make my bed and just kind of organize things. I need to get ready for our homeschooling day, so I'm pushing out my homeschool cart. I'll share more about this later, but just getting supplies ready to do school with the children. Also, at this time of year, I have to water all my indoor plant starts and just kind of gather my thoughts and prepare for the day ahead. In my last video, I shared about the summer kitchen that I have just put together, and we're kind of waiting on the weather to warm up. It's still, 40 degrees in the morning when we wake up and a little too cold to eat outside. But just as soon as it warms up, I will move breakfast outdoors, most meals outdoors, because it keeps the mess out there, and it's just a great way to start the day. Seeing if I get a thumbs up from Benji on these muffins, and I love this stage when they can't do a thumbs up. I just think that's so cute. Another chore this time of year is getting the wood stove going. It isn't extremely cold outside. Some days it's been 50, 60 degrees, so we don't necessarily need the fire a lot of days, but since I knew the chicks were hatching on this day, I went ahead and got the wood stove going because the chicks need to be kept warm, and I figured the wood stove would be easier than digging out my heat lamp and getting that all set up in the house. So just getting the fire started, kind of enjoying the rest of my tea while it's still hot. My next job is to clean up after breakfast. Our dishwasher is broken. We've gone through so many dishwashers since moving in this house. We have hard water and dishwashers don't last. We even tried the Bosch dishwasher that was supposed to be the best for hard water and it still didn't last. So I have to wash my dishes by hand, and my dishwasher is just a really fancy, expensive drying rack at this point. But that's okay. I kind of enjoy hand washing dishes. It's a routine that is kind of nice. And then as soon as I get done washing dishes, I've got to fill the Berkey filter so we have drinking water for the day. In the meantime, the big boys are outside doing the animal chores, and the girls are getting themselves ready for the day. They'll be taking their showers and getting dressed and doing all of that. As soon as I get done with the dishes and the sink is cleared out, it's time to brush all of the little boys' teeth. At this point, the big kids can handle that on their own, and I just have the 3 little boys' teeth to brush every day. And so we get that taken care of. And then after that, I just need to do a general tidy of the kitchen. With 7 children eating food, there tends to be a lot of mess and crumbs and spills. So I have to sweep my kitchen floor at least after every meal and snack. So I keep a broom and a dustpan in the kitchen, and we are sweeping quite often. So just doing a general tidy, and then after this, most of my morning chores are done. I really enjoy the routine of my morning chores. It's kind of grounding. I do the same things every day. At this point, it's time for me to kind of get myself ready and brush my own teeth. If we're going somewhere that day, I'll get a shower and get dressed at this point. If it's a day where I'm going to be working in the garden, I'll wait and take my shower later on after naps before Adam gets home. Now the big kids are in from doing their outdoor chores, and they're allowed, their reward for going out and doing men's work is they get to make themselves a little cup of coffee. And so that's what they're doing right now to kind of warm up and start their day. and I am working on lunch because I have the energy. Like I said early in the day, I've got a lot of energy, so I capitalize on that and try to get lunch started and even dinner started if it's something I can do in the oven or crock pot. So today I'm working on some bread, and I'm also going to make a batch of chili. Let me show you what I'm putting in my chili today. The first thing is we're going to use 1 quart plus 1 pint of home canned tomato sauce. And then we're going to use a quart of home canned, homegrown ground beef, just adding that straight into it. Then we're going to use a quart of home canned, I believe these were lima beans. Just going to get those in the pot. Up next, we're going to add a bunch of dehydrated stuff. First, some dehydrated sweet corn, and then a little bit of dehydrated okra from the garden. We're doing some dehydrated banana peppers from last year's garden. Also some dehydrated cherry tomatoes and some dehydrated cayenne peppers. Dehydration is a great way to preserve your vegetables for soups because they rehydrate perfectly. Then I've got some onion powder and some salt and a little bit of chili powder, and that's about it. We're just going to stir that all together, and that will be our chili for the day. And then because I already have the wood stove going, I don't need to waste electricity on the electric stove. We're just going to set that pot of chili on top of the wood stove. Make sure the fire is going warm enough to simmer that chili, and that will be lunch for today. The big boys are enjoying their coffee and playing with their little brothers, and nothing warms my heart more than seeing my older children playing with my boys like that. I love it. Next, the bread that I was starting. It's in the mixer, and this is my lazy bread recipe. I did a video on this, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, so I'll link that in the description. But it's time to just knead my bread dough. I can get this in the pan, and then I'll put it in the oven that's still kind of warm from making muffins, and it will rise while we're doing school, and at some point I'll turn the oven on and get it baking so that it will be done and ready just in time for lunch today. So just getting that bread ready to go. And then the reward for the children's patience. They had been begging me all day, and I said, okay, you guys have been so patient. I will get these 2 chicks out and let you play with them. So that is what they are very excited to do before we start school. And the big boys still need to take their showers and get ready for the day, so I figured while they were doing that, and we can't start school yet, I'm going to try to get a little bit of a workout in, and I thought I'd show you what I use to work out in the house. This is my Mekbelt spin bike. This is a really affordable, lightweight, easy to move around spin bike that we have, and this is what I use for workouts in the house. So as you can see, it's so light that Gabe can just pull it out of the bedroom and into the main space of the house for me. And I like to work out here so that I can keep an eye on everybody instead of, hiding out in a room where I can't see what's going on. And since all the children were occupied with the chick, this was a great opportunity for me to get a workout in. Now, obviously, I would normally put workout clothes on, but I thought I'd spare you guys the sight of me in my workout clothes and just go ahead and do it in this today. And so this, like I said, it's a Mekbelt. It's great. It has Bluetooth hookup, so you can access multiple fitness apps with it. It's silent, doesn't make any noise, and there's tons of, like 100 different levels. It's adjustable. You can get coaching classes that connect to it. I really love this. Adam has a whole gym out in his garage, but I can't go out there and work out and keep my eyes on the kids. So this was something that I got for myself to help lose the baby weight because I've been struggling since I turned 41, and I needed something that I could get a little aerobic activity on days when I can't get outside and do farm chores. So I love this Mekbelt. I'll leave a link in the description for it if you're looking for an affordable spin bike because, there's a lot of options out there, but some of them are extremely pricey, and this one is really affordable. So the children are enjoying playing with the chicks, and once I was done, I did about a 20-minute workout, and then it was time to do the girls' hair and just kind of get everybody do the last finishing touches on getting ready for the day before school begins. At this point, there were just the 2 chicks hatched, and over the course of the next 24 hours, we would end up with a total of 14 chicks. So just kind of enjoying playing with them one at a time as they come out of the incubator. Just always a delight. The children love this, and it's always exciting to have new life in the house. It's been a while. It's been since we had the puppies in December, and so just having baby animals in the house is always so much fun. The chili on the stove was starting to kind of simmer at this point, so I have to make sure I remember to stir it every now and then just to make sure nothing sticks. And then Gracie got a little basket here and made a spot for the chicks to stay warm right in front of the wood stove so that we could put them there while we do school because I didn't want the children distracted during school. I figured we'll put the chicks away there. And then it was time to begin. I've mentioned before in other videos, we always start our school day with a read aloud with everybody all together. You know, the kids are at very different levels in their schooling, so there are a lot of subjects that we can't do all together, you know, like math and language arts and things. But for things like history and social studies, we can read aloud all together and learn. On this particular day, we were learning about the gold rush, and that was really fun. We were reading a chapter from a book and just discussing it all together. You know, sometimes we might need to get out maps to talk about places that are discussed and things like that. But this is always fun. It sparks wonderful discussions, and many times we end up on these rabbit trails that last an hour and a half, and this is where some of our best learning occurs. I keep my smartphone next to me, and we just answer questions as they pop up. I mentioned before I keep this cart next to me when I'm doing our homeschooling, and this allows me to have quick access to our homeschool supplies as I need them. And then on days where we might be doing school outside in the summer, I can just wheel this cart outdoors and I have everything I need there, particularly for the little boys, because right now my main job in homeschooling, what occupies most of my time, is working with Levi. He is 6 years old, so he's learning to read, he's doing his math, and it really requires a lot of one-on-one attention at that point. The other older children at this point are working on their independent math work and language arts, and they can do a lot of that on their own and then just come to me when they have questions and I can answer those questions for them. But Levi really needs me to sit with him through all of his lessons and really work. And then another, hard part is John. He's only 4 years old and he really wants to be included. He feels left out that he's not doing school. So I always make sure to grab him a book or something and let him sit next to me. And then that makes him feel like he's a big boy that's also, participating in what the rest of the children are doing. Benji, in the meantime, is just running around, making messes. So as I mentioned, the big kids are doing their independent work at this point. And then once I get done working with Levi and he's kind of ready to be on his own, I can pop from older child to older child and go upstairs and see the big boys and just kind of see what's going on. I'm kind of just the manager of everything at this point, just seeing if anybody needs anything, needs me to look anything up on the phone or find any resources for them. And then once again, stirring that chili, and then the bulk of my work is keeping these two little boys out of trouble. Keeping them on this day from harming the baby chicks was my biggest goal, but just trying to keep them out of the big kids' hair so that they don't disturb them and everybody can get their work done. Once nobody needs me anymore and everybody's finishing up their schoolwork, I can start lunch. Today I'm going to make some juice for lunch. I've got a quart of the home canned cranberry juice I made last month or 2 months ago with you guys. And I'm just straining those cranberries out of it. I am not going to waste those. We're going to put those in a pot and use them again. So this was cranberry juice that was canned without sugar. It was just cranberries and water. And then I have a quart of home canned Concord grape juice, and I'm also straining the juice out and leaving the grapes behind, and we'll add those to the cranberries and use them again. But I'm making sort of a cran grape juice. The cranberry juice in itself is kind of tart, and so if you add the grape juice, that sweetens it up, and no sugar is needed. And this is a really healthy treat for the kids. The cranberry juice is great for urinary tract health. The Concord grape juice is really great for digestive health. And then, as I mentioned, there's no waste in this. We'll take the leftover berries and grapes. I added some water to a pan with them in them, and we're going to put those on the wood stove and make another batch of juice to turn into jelly from those. So hopefully I'll get to that this day, but we'll just kind of see where the day leads us. So there, I've got the New batch of juice simmering next to the chili. By this point in the day, we're beginning to notice more chicks hatching, so the children are kind of all looking at the incubator and kind of hanging out, hoping to catch a live hatching. And we were very blessed to be able to witness several hatchings on this day. It's just such a miracle to watch the beginning of new life. And so I thought I'd share one of those that we were able to capture with you guys. And these chicks work so hard to get out of those shells, and it is exhausting for them, as you can tell. And it's just exciting to finally watch them break out of it. We're counting this as science for today, and the kids were really enjoying it. So, welcome to the world, baby chick. May you grow up to lay lots of eggs for us. Or if you're a boy, may you be a really helpful rooster. Perfect timing. Our bread is done and just in time because the children are starting to get hungry. It's been a busy morning and everybody is ready for lunch. Let me show you how that chili turned out. So here we go. We've got our lazy bread. We've got our juice that we made that the kids can have with lunch. And then we have our chili. And as you can see in this chili, the dehydrated vegetables turn out wonderfully. They're perfect to use in soups because they just slowly rehydrate. And by the time the soup is done, everything is ready to go. So dehydration or freeze drying, don't forget those as a valid way to preserve your vegetables in the summer. It's just really helpful. And this was a really delicious chili, you guys. The kids ate this entire pot and actually wanted more. So next time I'm going to know to maybe not double the recipe, but definitely add more to it. And time for lunch. I've got kids starving at this point and kind of hovering around the corner. That's always the sign that they are ready to eat. So I always portion everybody out, kind of a bowl that they begin with, and then children will go back and get seconds as needed. I had to make sure everybody got an equal amount of juice or they will complain. And then I just got everybody set up for lunch, and then it's time for me to move on with the next part of my day. I usually begin the dishes and start cleaning up while they're eating. After, of course, I kind of eat my own bowl that's sitting right there really, really quickly. I try to eat it quickly so that then I can begin cleaning up. After that, I usually take a walk outside to just kind of decompress from the morning. You guys know I love my children. I love serving my family, but I am definitely, an introvert, and being around people and noise and people needing me all day can definitely be hard. And so I do need moments in my day to kind of recharge. So taking a walk outside in the quiet, in nature, to kind of talk with God is just really good for me on these busy days. So that's what I'm doing right here. And then let me share with you what I will do for the rest of the day when I go inside. So once I go back in, I'll finish cleaning up the rest of the dishes as the children are done with their meals. And then it will be nap time. And so the two youngest boys at this point are 4 and almost 2. Benji is 22 months. So they're the only two that take naps. The rest of the children are expected to, if it's nice out, go play outside, quietly away from the house where they won't disturb the sleeping little ones. Or if it's not nice, they will go upstairs and read quietly. They're just expected to do quiet time during that time. Nap time typically lasts from about 1 to 3. And then after the little boys wake up, if I didn't get a shower earlier in the day, that is when I'll take my shower and get ready for the day. If it's a nice day out, I might go outside and work in the garden for a little bit or do a project with the children that needs to get done. And then starting at about 4 o'clock, it's time for me to begin prepping and working on dinner. And every day, except for Thursdays, I'm in charge of making dinner. Thursdays, which is what this day was, is pizza day. And on those days, David handles dinner for me. He enjoys making the pizza. And so Thursdays are my break. So on this day, while he was making dinner, then I get to spend a little extra time with the little boys, and I might read them a book or do some kind of project with them. And then we eat dinner, and I clean up dinner, and after that, I am off duty. Once Adam gets home and it's after dinner time, they want to have daddy time. They miss daddy. So Adam will take them outside and play with them, take them out to the garage and do something. Or if it's not nice and it's wintry out, he might put in a movie and watch a movie with them. And it's a huge blessing to me as a mother because then I can use those evening hours to edit videos or answer some messages online, read a book for myself, go run an errand, do whatever. That is my time that's kind of for me and whatever I need to get done. So on this day, after I came in from outside and cleaned up lunch, Benji needed a bath because he had chili all over him. So we got him all cleaned up so that he could take a nap and not be super messy. And he always sleeps better after a bath too, so that's a good time in the day to do that. So then I'm just going to start snuggling him, and I'll get John set up, and we're all going to take a rest. And Mommy usually takes a nap too because I enjoy that downtime. So I hope you guys enjoyed this peek into my day as a busy mom of 7, and we will see you next week with another video, friends. Bye.